The alien ship moved through space like a giant metal bird. Its name was Harmony's Edge, and it carried 12 different species from across the galaxy. Today they were going to meet humans for the first time. Captain Vexthal stood on the bridge, with his 4 arms crossed. He was Zethkari, which meant he looked like a giant insect with green skin and big black eyes. His people had been exploring space for over 3,000 years. They had met hundreds of alien races, but humans were new. "Captain, we are close to the human station," said Shard of Morning Light. She was Nexari, made of living crystal that changed colors when she talked. Her voice sounded like wind chimes. "They are on the 3rd planet. The humans call it Kepler 442b. Greshmer, the ship's warrior, made a low, growling sound. He was Sorak, tall and strong like an ancient lizard that walked on 2 legs. His scales were dark red, and his teeth were very sharp. "These humans are young. Their species only learned to fly between stars 50 years ago. Why do we need to be careful with them?" Captain Vexthal looked at the information on his screen. "Because young species can be dangerous. They do things that make no sense. They take risks that older species would never take." The ship moved closer to the planet. It was mostly green and blue, with white clouds. It looked peaceful. But Vexthal had learned that looks could lie. "Sir, the humans are talking to us," said the communications officer. She was Quillen, with purple fur and 6 legs. "Put them on the screen," Vexthal said. A human face appeared on the main screen. It was a woman with brown hair and kind eyes. She smiled, showing white teeth. "Hello, this is Dr. Kate Murphy from Kepler Research Station. Welcome to our world." Vexthal had studied human faces before this meeting. The smile was supposed to mean friendship, but he knew that many dangerous creatures smiled before they attacked. "Greetings, Dr. Murphy. I am Captain Vexthal. We come in peace to learn about your people." "We're happy to meet you," Kate said. "Would you like to visit our station? We can show you what we're doing here." Vexthal looked at his crew. Shard of Morning Light's crystals turned blue, which meant she was curious. Greshmer's hand was near his weapon, which meant he was worried. "We would like that," Vexthal said. 2 hours later, their shuttle landed at the human station. The building was made of metal and glass, sitting in a clearing surrounded by tall trees. It looked simple compared to alien buildings, but it seemed strong. Kate Murphy met them at the landing pad. She was smaller than Greshmer, but bigger than the Quillen crew members. Next to her stood a man with short black hair and serious eyes. "This is Ben Carter," Kate said. "He runs our colony here." Ben stepped forward and held out his hand. Vexthal knew this was how humans greeted each other. He reached out with one of his arms and touched Ben's hand briefly. "Welcome to Kepler 442b, Ben said. "We hope you enjoy your visit." They walked into the station. The walls were covered with pictures of the planet's animals and plants. Vexthal saw images of creatures he had never seen before. Some looked harmless, like small furry things with big eyes. Others looked very dangerous, with sharp teeth and claws. "Your planet has many predators," Shard of Morning Light observed. Her crystals turned yellow, which meant she was interested but careful. "Yes, it does," Kate said. "That's part of why we're here. We're studying how to live with them." "Live with them?" Greshmer asked. His voice was deep and rough. "Most species kill predators or build walls to keep them away." Kate and Ben looked at each other. Something passed between them that the aliens didn't understand. "We try different methods," Ben said carefully. They continued the tour. The station had laboratories, living areas, and a big room with computers. Everything looked normal for a research base. But Vexthal noticed something strange. There were no weapons visible anywhere. No guards at the doors. No barriers around the outside of the building. How do you protect yourselves? He asked. From? What? Kate asked. From the predators? From attacks? From anything dangerous? Kate smiled again. We found ways to stay safe. They walked outside to see the rest of the station. The alien visitors saw gardens where humans grew food. They saw machines that cleaned water and made power. They saw humans working together, talking and laughing. But they also saw something else. There were scratches on some of the buildings. Big scratches, like those made by very large claws. There were paths in the dirt that looked like they were made by heavy creatures. And sometimes, in the distance between the trees, something moved in the shadows. What made those marks? Shard of Morning Light asked, pointing at the scratches. Local wildlife, Ben said. They come around sometimes. And you don't drive them away? Greshmer asked. He couldn't understand it. If dangerous animals came near Sorok settlements, warriors would hunt them down. We've learned to coexist, Kate said. That evening, the aliens stayed in guest rooms at the station. They were comfortable, but Vexthul couldn't sleep. Through his window, he could see the dark forest. Sometimes he heard sounds, not human sounds. Deep growls and strange calls that made his skin crawl. He called his science officer. Shard of Morning Light, are you getting any readings on the local predators? Yes, Captain. There are several large life forms moving around the station. They seem to be ... circling us. Should we prepare for attack? I don't think so. They're not approaching the buildings. They're just ... watching. Vexthul looked out the window again. In the moonlight, he thought he saw eyes reflecting the light. Many eyes, all looking toward the human station. This is not normal behavior for predators, he said. No, Captain, it's not. The next morning, Vexthul decided they needed to understand more about how humans lived on this world. What he would see would change everything he thought he knew about the human species. The morning sun was bright when Kate Murphy asked the alien visitors if they wanted to see the forest. Captain Vexthul thought it was a good idea. His crew needed to understand this planet better. We will bring weapons, Greshmer said. He reached for his plasma rifle. That won't be necessary, Kate said. We don't carry weapons in the forest. The Sorok warrior stared at her. You go into a forest full of predators without weapons? We've never needed them, Kate replied. Ben Carter joined them at the station entrance. With him was a woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. She carried a large bag on her back. This is Lisa Park, Ben said. She studies the animals here. She knows the forest better than anyone. Lisa smiled and waved at the aliens. Hello, I'm excited to show you our neighbors. Vexthul's translator worked on the word neighbors. It seemed wrong. Neighbors were other intelligent beings who lived nearby. Not dangerous animals. The group walked into the forest. The trees were tall and thick. Sunlight came through the leaves in patches. The air smelled of earth and growing things. Birds sang in the branches above them. That shard of Morning Light's crystals kept changing colors. Yellow for interest, orange for caution, red for danger. The readings from her sensors were confusing. I detect many large life forms, she told the captain quietly. They are following us. How many? Vexthul asked. At least 12, maybe more. Greshmer heard them talking. His hand moved toward his weapon again. But Kate was walking ahead like nothing was wrong. She pointed at flowers and explained what they were. Lisa took pictures of bugs and plants. They walked for an hour. The aliens kept looking over their shoulders. They could hear things moving in the bushes. Branches broke. Leaves rustled. But they never saw what was making the sounds. Then Lisa stopped walking. She held up her hand for everyone to be quiet. There, she whispered. She pointed ahead through the trees. The aliens looked, and saw something that made their blood freeze. It was huge, at least 3 meters long and 2 meters tall. It had 6 legs, each ending in claws the size of knives. Its skin was dark gray with black spots. Its head was long with a mouth full of sharp teeth, and it was hurt. Shadow Maw, Lisa said quietly. Male, about 8 years old. He's been in a fight. The creature was lying on its side. One of its legs was bent the wrong way. Dark blood came from cuts on its body. Its breathing was heavy and painful. It's dying, Shard of Morning Light said. Her crystals were pure red now. Not if I can help it, Lisa said. Before anyone could stop her, Lisa started walking toward the monster. No, Greshmer shouted. He reached for his weapon, but Ben grabbed his arm. Don't, Ben said calmly. Let her work. Work? Vexthel couldn't believe what he was seeing. That thing will kill her. No, it won't, Kate said. Lisa was now only 5 meters from the Shadow Maw. The creature's yellow eyes opened and looked at her. It made a low growling sound, but it didn't try to attack. Lisa sat down on the ground. She opened her bag and took out medical supplies. She also took out food, meat, fresh and bloody. Easy, boy, Lisa said in a soft voice. I'm here to help. She threw the meat toward the creature. It landed near its head. The Shadow Maw sniffed the meat and ate it quickly. She's feeding it, Shard of Morning Light said. She's feeding a predator. This is madness, Greshmer said. In 5 minutes, we'll be watching her funeral. But Lisa kept working. She moved closer to the injured animal. She talked to it in quiet words. The Shadow Maw watched her, but didn't attack. When she was close enough, Lisa started cleaning its wounds. The aliens watched in horror and amazement. Lisa worked for 2 hours. She cleaned the creature's cuts. She put medicine on them. She even fixed its broken leg with a metal brace. There, Lisa said when she was done. That should help. The Shadow Maw looked at her with its big yellow eyes. Then it did something that made no sense. It made a sound like a cat purring. A huge, dangerous predator was purring at a human. Lisa smiled and patted its head. You're a good boy, aren't you? She stood up and walked back to the group. The aliens stared at her like she was crazy. How? Vexthel asked. How are you still? Alive? Why wouldn't I be? Lisa asked. That creature could have killed you with 1 bite, Greshmer said. He didn't want to kill me, Lisa said. He was hurt and scared. He needed help. But it's a predator, Shard of Morning Light said. Predators don't accept help from other species. These ones do, Kate said. They started walking back to the station. But after a few minutes, Lisa stopped and looked back. The Shadow Maw was following them. It walked slowly because of its hurt leg, but it was definitely following. Is that normal? Vexthel asked. Pretty normal, Ben said. It's following us back to your station, Greshmer said. Aren't you worried? About what? Lisa asked. About it attacking your people, Lisa laughed. He won't attack anyone. He's grateful. Grateful? Shard of Morning Light's crystals were flashing different colors very fast. Animals don't feel grateful. These ones do, Kate said again. When they reached the station, the Shadow Maw lay down at the edge of the forest. It was close enough to see the buildings, but far enough away not to scare anyone. Other humans walked by and waved at it. Some even brought it food. This happens often? Vexthel asked. Lisa helps injured animals about once a week, Ben said. Sometimes more. And they all follow her back here? Most of them. Vexthel looked around the station with new eyes. Those scratches on the buildings weren't from attacks. They were from animals rubbing against the walls. The paths in the dirt weren't made by hunting predators. They were made by creatures that came here regularly. How many are out there? He asked. In the forest around the station? Kate thought for a moment. Maybe 40 or 50. It changes. 40 or 50 predators? Greshmer couldn't believe it. They're not really predators anymore, Lisa said. They're more like ... friends. That night, Vex still couldn't sleep again. But this time, it wasn't because he was afraid. It was because he was starting to understand something that scared him more than any monster. Humans weren't just living with the predators on this world. They were collecting them. The next morning, Dr. Carl Hughes knocked on the alien visitor's door. He was a tall man with gray hair and thick glasses. He carried a computer tablet in his hands. "Good morning," Carl said. "Kate told me you have questions about our work here. I study alien life forms. Maybe I can help explain things." Captain Vextel looked at his crew. They all had the same confused expression. Yesterday, they had watched a human woman pet a monster like it was a friendly dog. None of them had slept. "Well, yes," Vextel said. "We have many questions." Carl smiled and sat down. He put his tablet on the table and turned it on. Pictures appeared on the screen. "This is what we call Project Harmony," Carl said. "We've been working on it for 15 years now." The first picture showed a world with red sand and purple sky. Humans were walking next to creatures that looked like giant spiders with metal shells. "This is Colony 7, Carl explained. "The local predators are called ironbacks. They're very dangerous. Their bite can cut through steel. But look." He touched the screen, and the picture changed. Now it showed a human child riding on the back of one of the spider creatures. The child was laughing and having fun. "That was taken last month," Carl said. Shard dash of Morning Light's crystals turned bright white. This was her color for complete shock. "How?" she asked. Carl changed the picture again. This time it showed a different world. The sky was green and the trees were silver. Humans were working in gardens while huge bird-like creatures with razor-sharp beaks watched over them. "Colony 12. Carl said, "Those are storm wings. They can fly at 300 kilometers per hour. Their beaks can break rocks, but they help us now." "Help you do what?" Greshmer asked. His voice was very quiet. "Protect the crops from smaller pests. Guard the settlements. Sometimes they carry messages between towns." Carl kept showing pictures. Every human colony had dangerous predators. And in every picture, the predators were working with humans instead of hunting them. "This is impossible," Vextel said. "Predators don't work with prey species. It goes against nature." "We're not prey," Carl said. "That's what everyone gets wrong about humans." He changed the screen to show charts and numbers. "Let me tell you about Earth history. 10,000 years ago, my people lived in caves. We were weak and slow. We couldn't run fast or fight well. By all rights, we should have died out." "But you didn't," Shard of Morning Light said. "No, because we learned something other species never learned. We learned to make friends with our enemies." Carl showed them a picture of a wolf. It was gray and had yellow eyes like the Shadowmaw they saw yesterday. This animal killed humans for thousands of years. It was our greatest enemy, but we didn't fight it. We fed it. We helped it. When it was hurt, we showed it kindness. And, Greshmer asked, and it became our best friend. We call them dogs now. They help us hunt. They guard our homes. They even give their lives to protect us. Carl showed picture after picture. Horses that carried humans. Cats that killed pests. Birds that delivered messages. On Earth, we turned every major predator into an ally, Carl said. When we came to the stars, we just kept doing what worked. Vexthul felt sick. "How many colonies do you have?" 247 worlds, Carl said. "Every single one has local predators. And every single one is protected by creatures that used to hunt humans. Protected from what? Shard of Morning Light asked. Carl's face became serious. From species that still think like predators and prey. Species that solve problems with weapons instead of friendship. He showed them a new picture. It was a space battle. Ships were fighting above a planet. But the planet's surface was covered with flying creatures that looked like dragons. This was Colony 19 last year, Carl said. Pirates tried to attack our settlements. The Stormwings didn't like that. In the picture, the dragon-like creatures were attacking the pirate ships. The pirates were running away. The attack lasted 4 minutes, Carl said. We didn't fire a single shot. Greshmer stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see the shadow mole that Lisa had helped yesterday. It was lying in the sun, sleeping peacefully. But its eyes opened when humans walked by, watching. Them like a guard dog. You're building armies, Greshmer said. We're making friends, Carl corrected. Same thing, the Sarok warrior said. Carl looked at each of the aliens. 3 days ago, your ship entered this system. Did you know that 17 Stormwings followed you all the way here? Vextel's forearms went stiff. What? They protect. U.S. from unknown ships. If you had tried to attack this planet, you would never have reached the surface. Shard of Morning Light checked her sensors. I'm not detecting any flying creatures. They're very high up, Carl said. Above your sensor. Range, but they're there. Vextel felt fear growing in his chest. Are we in danger? Only if you tried to hurt us, Carl said calmly. There was a long silence. Then Greshmer spoke from the window. On my world, when we find a dangerous predator, we kill it, he said. It's the only logical thing to do. And how many of your worlds have been attacked by pirates? Carl asked. Greshmer thought about it. Many. We lose colonies every year. We haven't lost a single colony in 8 years, Carl said. Not one. That afternoon, Lisa Park took the aliens to see more of her work. They found her in a clearing where she was feeding 6 different predators. All of them had been hurt at some point. All of them had been healed by human hands. This is Rex, Lisa said, patting a creature that looked like a giant cat with armor plates. I found him with a broken rib 3 months ago. And this is Bella. She had an infected wound on her leg. The aliens watched as the deadly predators acted like pets around Lisa. They purred when she touched them. They brought her things from the forest. They even played games with her. How long does it take? Vextel asked. To heal them? To make them loyal. Lisa thought about it. Usually about 2 weeks. Sometimes less if they're really hurt. Pain makes them grateful faster. Can they never attack you? Why would they attack someone who saved their life? That night, Vextel called a meeting with his crew. We need to report this to the council, he said. What do we tell them? Shard of Morning Light asked. That humans are not what they seem. They don't conquer worlds with weapons. They conquer them with kindness. And it might be the most dangerous strategy in the galaxy. Ryan Clark was having breakfast when the alarm started screaming. He was the station commander, a man with short brown hair and calm green eyes. He had been expecting this day for a long time. Sir, we have 5 ships coming in fast, said Jake. Foster, the security chief. He was a big man with black hair and worried eyes. They're not responding to our calls. Ryan looked at the computer screen. The ships were sleek and dark, built for war. He knew what they were. Void hunters, he said quietly. The alien visitors were in the control room when the alarm started. Captain Vextel looked at the screen with his big black eyes. Pirates, he said. Your colony is under attack. I know, Ryan said. He seemed very calm for someone whose home was about to be destroyed. Where are your weapons? Greshmer asked. Your defense systems? We don't have any, Ryan said. The Sarok warrior stared at him. No weapons? No shields? How do you defend yourselves? You'll see, Ryan said. On the screen, the pirate ships were getting closer. They were big and ugly, covered with guns and missile launchers. The aliens had seen ships like these before. Void hunters attacked colonies across the galaxy. They took what they wanted and killed anyone who fought back. You need to evacuate, Vextol said. My ship can take some of your people. Thank you, Ryan said, but we don't need to leave. The alien captain couldn't understand it. Humans were acting like they were safe when death was coming from the sky. 5 minutes until they reach us, Jake said. Ryan nodded and walked to a control panel. He pressed a single button. A low sound came from speakers all around the station. It was deep and musical, like a song without words. What is that? Shard of Morning Light asked. Her crystals were flashing red with danger. Dinner bell, Ryan said. The sound went out across the forest. Every human in the station stopped what they were doing and listened. Then they smiled. Lisa Park was in the laboratory when she heard the signal. She put down her work and walked to the window. In the distance, she could see the pirate ships coming down through the clouds. Finally, she said, the kids are going to be so excited. Outside, the forest began to move. Not the trees, but everything living in the forest. Shadows shifted between the branches. The ground shook with heavy footsteps. And from every direction, creatures began to emerge. The shadow maw that Lisa had healed yesterday was the first to appear. It limped out of the trees and looked up at the sky. Its yellow eyes saw the pirate ships, and its lips pulled back to show huge teeth. Then came the others. More shadow maws, dozens of them. Storm wings with beaks like swords. Iron backs with shells. That could stop bullets. Creatures the aliens had never seen before. Monsters from the deepest parts of the forest. How many? Vexthal whispered. About 300, Ryan said. Give or take. The pirate ships were landing now. They came down. In the open area near the station, their engines roaring. The lead ship was huge, big enough to carry 100 pirates. They'll slaughter your people, Greshmer said. Will they? Ryan asked. The first pirates came out of their ships. They were different species from across the galaxy. Some looked like giant insects. Others were lizard-like or covered in fur. All of them carried weapons. The pirate leader was a Crothan, a species known for their cruelty. He was tall and thin with gray skin and red eyes. He carried a plasma rifle that could kill 10 humans with one shot. Humans of Kepler 442b, the pirate leader said through a loudspeaker. You will give us your food, your metals, and your technology. Anyone who fights will die. Ryan picked up a microphone. I'm Commander Ryan Clark. You need to leave now. The pirate leader laughed. Or what? You'll call for help. Your nearest military base is 50 light years away. I don't need the military. Ryan said, Then what will you do? Ryan looked at the aliens in the control room. I'll introduce you to our neighbors. He pressed another button. This time, a different sound came from the speakers. It was sharper, more urgent. It was the sound of a hunting call. The forest exploded into motion. Shadow maws came running from every direction. They moved faster than anything that big should be able to move. Their claws dug into the ground as they charged toward the pirate ship's storm wings filled the sky. They dove down like living missiles, their beaks aimed at the pirates below. Iron backs came out of the trees like walking tanks. Their metal shells gleamed in the sunlight. The pirates had about 3 seconds to realize what was happening. Then the predators hit them. It wasn't a battle. It was a massacre. The shadow maws were on the pirates before they could raise their weapons. Claws ripped through armor like paper. Teeth tore metal and flesh apart. The storm wings attacked from above. They grabbed pirates in their talons and threw them into the air. Their beaks punched through ship hulls like they were made of wood. The ironbacks charged the pirate ships. Their shells crushed landing gear and weapon systems. Nothing the pirates had could hurt them. Impossible, Greshmer whispered. How do they coordinate? How do they know not to attack each other? Practice, Ryan said. We've been training together for years. The pirate leader was running back to his ship. 3 Shadowmaws were chasing him. He turned and fired his plasma rifle. The energy bolt hit one of the creatures in the chest. A Shadowmaw stopped, looked down at the burn mark, then looked back at the pirate. It made a sound like laughter. Plasma weapons don't work on them, Ryan explained. Their skin is too thick. The pirate leader made it to his ship, but when he tried to take off, storm wings had torn apart his engines. Ironbacks had crushed his landing gear. He wasn't going anywhere. In 5 minutes, it was over. The pirate ships were wrecked. Most of the pirates were dead. The few who survived were running into the forest, chased by creatures that thought hunting was fun. The predators gathered around the station. They looked up at the humans in the windows and made happy sounds. Some of them were bringing pieces of pirate ships as gifts. Lisa Park came outside with a big bag of meat. Good job, everyone, she called out. Dinner time. The monsters lined up like dogs waiting for treats. Vex, though, looked at his crew. Shard of Morning Light's crystals were pure white with shock. Greshmer's hand was shaking. None of them could speak. Now you understand, Ryan said. This is how humans survive. We don't build bigger guns. We make friends with the biggest guns that already exist. You turned them into soldiers, Vexthal said. No, Ryan said. We turned them into family. Soldiers fight for duty. Family fights for love. Outside, Lisa was petting the Shadowmaw she had healed. It was purring like a giant cat, happy to have protected its human friend. The pirates will tell others, Greshmer said. Word will spread. Good, Ryan said. Maybe they'll think twice before attacking human colonies. But Vexthal was thinking about something else. If humans could turn the most dangerous predators into loyal protectors, what could they do with intelligent species? What could they do with entire civilizations? For the first time in his life, the alien captain was afraid of a species that seemed completely harmless. Dr. Nina Walsh found the alien visitors sitting in the station's common room the next morning. They looked like they hadn't slept. Their eyes were wide, and they kept looking toward the windows where predators could be seen playing in the morning. Nina was a small woman with red hair and green eyes. She was the station psychologist, which meant she studied how minds worked. She had been watching the aliens since they arrived. You look troubled, she said, sitting down across from them. Captain Vexthal looked at her with all 4 of his arms crossed. We have seen things that make no sense. Like what? Your people feed monsters. You turn killers into pets. You survive by befriending death itself. Nina nodded. And that scares you? Yes, Shard of Morning Light said. Her crystals were dim gray, the color of confusion. Our people have laws about dangerous species. We contain them or eliminate them. We don't make friends with them. Why not? Nina asked. Greshmer made a growling sound. Because friendship with predators is impossible. Predators take. They don't give. They kill. They don't protect. That's true for most species, Nina said. But humans are different. She stood up and walked to a wall covered with pictures. They showed humans throughout history. Ancient people in animal skins, farmers working with horses, soldiers riding into battle with dogs at their side. Let me tell you about human psychology, Nina said. Other species see the universe as divided into 2 groups, predators and prey, hunters and hunted, us and them. That's how nature works, Vexthal said. For everyone except humans, Nina replied. We see three groups. There's us, there's them, and there's them, who could become us. She pointed to a picture of a human child playing with a wolf puppy. Every human looks at every other creature and asks the same question. Not, will this kill me? But can this become my friend? Even when it's trying to eat you? Greshmer asked. Especially then, Nina said. Pain and fear create the strongest bonds. When you help someone who is suffering, they remember it forever. Shard of Morning Light's crystals flickered yellow. But how do you know they won't turn on you? Nina smiled. Because we don't just heal their bodies. We heal their souls. She showed them another picture. It was Lisa Park sitting with the Shadow Maw from yesterday. But in this picture, the creature was bringing her flowers. That Shadow Maw was dying when Lisa found him. He was alone, hurt, and scared. Every other species would have left him to die or put him out of his misery. But Lisa sat with him for hours. She fed him. She cleaned his wounds. She sang to him. Sang? Vexthal asked. Humans sing when we're happy or sad. It's how we share emotions. That Shadow Maw had never heard singing before. He learned that the sound meant safety and love. Nina changed the picture. Now it showed dozens of Shadow Maws gathered around Lisa as she sang to them. Now all the Shadow Maws in the forest hum when she sings. They bring her gifts. They protect her from danger. They would die for her because she showed them what kindness means. This is manipulation, Greshmer said. You trick them into serving you. No, Nina said firmly. Manipulation is when you lie to get what you want. We tell them the truth. We really do care about them. We really do want to help them. The protection is just a side effect. She sat back down and looked at each alien carefully. Let me ask you something. When your people encounter a new species, what's the first thing you do? We assess the threat level, Vexthal said. We determine their military capabilities, Greshmer added. We establish whether they're useful for trade. Shard of Morning Light, said. Nina nodded. You see them as threats, weapons, or resources, but humans see them as potential family. Family? Vexthal asked. Every creature we meet might become part of our pack, our tribe, our community. We don't just want to survive. Alongside them, we want to thrive together. She showed them a new picture. It was the human research station from above. But now they could see what the aliens had missed before. The station wasn't just a building in a forest. It was the center of a vast community. Paths led in every direction, connecting caves and nests. And dens. The predators had built homes around the human settlement. They had formed a town together. This is why human colonies never fall, Nina said. We don't just live on planets. We become part of them. Every creature becomes invested in our success, because our success is their success too. But what about species that can't be befriended? Shard of Morning Light asked. Surely some creatures are too dangerous or too alien. Nina's smile became sad. There are some we can't reach. But it's not because they're too dangerous. It's because they're too afraid. She showed them one last picture. It was a creature unlike anything they had seen before. It was made of metal and energy, with no organic parts at all. These are devourers, Nina said. They consume entire planets. We've tried to communicate with them for 20 years. We've offered them friendship, food, even whole moons to eat. But they run away whenever they see us coming. Why? Vexthal asked. Because someone told them humans are dangerous, Nina said. Someone convinced them we can't be trusted. So they shoot first and never ask questions. The room was quiet for a long time. Then Greshmer spoke. On my world, we have a saying. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. But you're saying something different. Yes, Nina said. We say the Enemy of my enemy could become my friend. But my enemy could become my friend too. Everyone could become my friend if I try hard enough. And if they refuse friendship? Vexthel asked. Nina looked out the window. In the distance, storm wings were playing in the sky, doing loops and dives for the pure joy of flying. Then we're very sad, she said, because we know how wonderful they could have been as part of our family. Captain Vexthel felt something cold growing in his chest. It wasn't fear anymore. It was understanding. Humans didn't conquer worlds by being stronger or smarter or more advanced. They conquered worlds by being more loving. And somehow, that was the most terrifying weapon in the galaxy. Because how do you fight an enemy who wants to be your friend? How do you defend against kindness? How do you prepare for a war against people who would rather give you everything you need than take anything you have? Now you understand, Nina said quietly. This is why we always win, not because we're the strongest, but because we're the only species that sees winning and losing as the same thing. Captain Vexthel stood on the bridge of his ship 3 days later. They were leaving the human world behind, but he couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen. His crew was busy preparing reports, but they all looked worried. Captain, said Shard of Morning Light, I've finished the analysis of human capabilities. What did you find? Vexthel asked. They're more dangerous than any species we've ever encountered, she said. Her crystals were deep purple, the color of serious concern, but not in the way we expected. Vexthel looked at the planet growing smaller behind them. Explain. Most dangerous species have big weapons or strong armies. Humans have something else. They have the ability to make anyone want to help them. That's not a weapon, said the communications officer. Yes, it is, Greshmar said from his station. It's the perfect weapon, one you can't defend against. Vexthel sat down in his captain's chair. Start the report. Shard of Morning Light activated the recording system. What they were about to send would reach every government in the galaxy. This is Captain Vexthel of the survey vessel, Harmony's Edge. We have completed our study of the human colony on Kepler 442b. Our findings require immediate attention from all council members. He paused and looked at his crew. They all nodded. They had agreed this had to be said. Humans are not the peaceful research species we believe them to be. They are apex predators who have developed the most effective conquest strategy in galactic history. They don't use weapons or armies, Shard of Morning Light added. They use empathy. They turn their enemies into their protectors by showing them kindness. We witnessed a human female approach a wounded Shadowmaw, Greshmar said. These creatures are Class 5 predators that have killed entire exploration teams. But instead of running or fighting, she healed its injuries and fed it. Within hours, the creature was following her like a domesticated pet. Vexthel continued the report. This is not an isolated incident. Humans have been using this strategy across 247 colony worlds. Every planet they settle becomes protected by the local predator species. We also witnessed their defensive capabilities, Shard of Morning Light said. When pirates attacked the colony, the humans didn't use shields or weapons. They called their converted predators. Over 300 apex predators responded within minutes and destroyed the attacking force completely. The pirates never had a chance, Greshmar added. It wasn't a battle. It was an execution carried out by creatures that once hunted humans, but now consider them family. Vexthel looked at the camera recording their message. But this is not the most concerning part of our discovery. He stood up and walked to the view screen. In the distance, he could see other ships, human ships, traveling between the stars. Humans don't just convert predators, he said. They convert entire ecosystems. Every world they touch becomes part of their extended family. The question we must ask is, What happens when they turn their attention to intelligent species? The bridge was quiet for a moment. Then Shard of Morning Light spoke. We recommend immediate revision of all contact protocols with humans. They should be classified as a Class 10 threat species. Class 10? The communications officer asked. But they've never attacked anyone. That's what makes them Class 10, Greshmer said. They don't need to attack. They make you want to join them. Vexthal added the final part of their report. All species are advised to approach human contact with extreme caution. Do not accept their help. Do not allow them to solve your problems. Do not let them show you kindness. These are not acts of friendship. They are recruitment techniques. Humans are patient predators, Shard of Morning Light said. They will wait years or decades to gain your trust. But once they have it, you will find yourself willing to do anything to protect them. The recording ended. Vexthal looked at his crew. Send it to everyone, he said. Every government, every military, every trade organization. They need to know what humans really are. But even as he said it, Vexthal felt doubt growing in his mind. During their time on the human world, he had been treated with respect and kindness. The humans had shared their food, their knowledge, their time. They had protected his crew from danger dot, and now he was warning the galaxy to stay away from them. Captain, said the communications officer, I'm getting a message from the human station. Put it through. Vexthal said. Kate Murphy's face appeared on the screen. She was smiling, but her eyes looked sad. Hello, Captain. I wanted to thank you for visiting us. I hope you learned what you needed to know. We learned a great deal, Vexthal said carefully. I'm sure you did. I also wanted you to know that you're always welcome back. If your people ever need help with anything, please don't hesitate to ask. The message ended. Vexthal stared at the empty screen. She knows, Shard of Morning Light said quietly. She knows we're going to warn everyone about them. And she's still offering to help us, Greshmer said, even after we betray them. Vexthal felt something he had never felt before. Guilt. The humans had been nothing but kind to them. And now he was telling the galaxy to treat them as enemies. But what choice did he have? If humans could turn apex predators into loyal pets, what could they do to his people? What could they do to any species that got too close? 6 months later, Vexthal received another message. This one came from his home world. The Shethkari government had a problem. Their mining colonies were being attacked by space pirates. They had lost 3 worlds in the past month. We need help, the message said. Our military cannot protect every colony. We are requesting assistance from any available allies. Vexthal looked at the message for a long time. Then he did something that surprised even himself. He sent a reply to the humans. This is Captain Vexthal. My people need help. Pirates are attacking our colonies. We have nowhere else to turn. The response came back within hours. It was from Kate Murphy. We'll be there in 2 weeks. Don't worry. We'll take care of everything. And somehow, Vexthal knew they would. Because that's what humans did. They helped anyone who asked, even people who had warned the galaxy against them. 2 weeks later, human ships arrived at the Zethkari colonies. They brought no weapons and no soldiers. But they brought something else. They brought creatures from dozens of worlds. Predators that had learned to love humans and would do anything to protect them. The pirates never came back. And slowly, very slowly, the Zethkari began to understand what the humans had been trying to tell them all along. The universe didn't have to be divided into predators and prey. It could be one big family if everyone was willing to try. But by then, it was too late to change the warning they had sent the galaxy. The message was already spreading from world to world, telling everyone that humans were dangerous. And maybe, Vexthal thought, that was exactly what the humans had wanted all along.